love the way, what was the football player? And he said, Cap took a knee, and that was how we were asking
Malcolm
for
Jenkins.
help.
He said, we
were
tried
asking for
peacefully.
help. Peacefully for help.
Quietly.
But
that wasn't about
do you think
dissing
that
the
was the
flag.
best way to do it, Matt, in your eyes? And
The knee?
The knee.
I think
Is that the best time to do it?
Because I think, there's a lot of cameras on us during the national anthem, so the movement was hijacked by the president, and say what you want, the NFL owners are a good old boys club, and if you understand what the good old boys club, you know what that is.
They're all rich, white billionaires. There's one minority owns Jacksonville Jaguars.
Right. So
he's Indian.
So they hijacked a peaceful movement saying that you're disrespecting the flag and the country, and it was never about that. We used the
moment,
the anthem as our vehicle of protest. We took a knee at that time because we knew cameras knew cameras.
By the way,
the
point was that it was controversial. It's supposed to be controversial.
Right.
But let me ask you this.
And it was peaceful and it was quiet.
It was, but you know what it was? Is a lot of Americans didn't see it as bringing light to police brutality. They saw it as disrespecting the flag. So let's say you own a team or you're Roger Goodell. Ratings went down 20%.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're talking about bottom dollar. So then what do you do? Like if you're calling Kaepernick because you have went, hey dude, instead of taking a knee, because we know the message isn't disrespect to the flag, but for whatever reason, a lot of America is fucking stupid. They find it disrespect and they're not tuning in. We're down 20%. Could you have written all the names?
Nope.
No. It's not going to work. It's not as polarizing.
No. To me, all the 20% that went down, I want you to educate yourself and understand why he's taking a knee.
Those 20, you can't. Those 20%, they're.
Well, then fuck them.
Right. The point of the flag is that you're allowed to do that.
You know what I mean? And to me, where I knew,
but as a business, you can't say fuck them.
But I solidified my thinking when I started seeing veterans say, "We understand why Cap is kneeling. I don't feel disrespected." And this was all colors.
I think all of us with a brain realized it wasn't disrespect the flag, that it was about police brutality. But then you have the other.
Well, the president hijacked. The president did his dog whistle thing. He hijacked it, called them all son of a bitches, and people are. The problem is there's just so many followers in this country.
Well, we call them sheep.
Yeah, in fact, there's not enough leaders and individual thinkers. So that president hijacks the movement and everyone jumps on the train,
and it went away from what it was about.
They always tell politicians never underestimate the virtue for Americans of something called sacredness. There are certain things that are sacred to Americans.
You fuck with the flag, dude.
You can't explain it. So it's the same thing. It's like cutting up the American flag to clean your bathroom, to clean your toilet, to use as a rag for your toilet. It may not be legal. It may not be illegal, but for Americans,
you're ISIS.
It is, yeah. Having
if you
taken a shit on
a
battleground, where a sacred battleground or something that's part of American history. They do all these studies. People go. So we have a deep sense of what's sacred and what's not.
But we pick and choose, though, because Budweiser throws the flag. You're not supposed to wear the flag on a T-shirt. You're not supposed to wear the flag in a bunch of different ways, but we pick and choose.
But you are, because this America, because the great thing about the flag says I can burn the flag if I want, and that's my right.
You get beat up,
but that's the strength of this country.
Yeah.
That is the great strength of this country. The idea that you can do. Remember, you have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Think about how general that is. Think about it for a second. You don't have the right to happiness.
Simplest form.
You have the right to the pursuit of happiness. Right, and that was the point. Is that maximum freedom was allotted. You have the right.
Only a certain.
That's true, but what's beautiful about the founding fathers?
Remember when they wrote it too, though.
But wait, hold on. That's what's the great irony of the great experiment in the United States is that they wrote the Constitution, men who owned slaves, men who were racist. They wrote the Constitution. What's beautiful about the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, though, is that very document and that Bill of Rights and the thinking that went around gave birth to feminism, humanism, racism, the notion of racism. So that doctrine and those principles were used to emancipate people worldwide, because you can't argue with them.
But
it's impossible to argue.
Is it? No, not at all.
For those, you guys should all read *Sapiens* by Yuval Harari about this.
Yeah. No, I mean, I obviously haven't done as much research as you, so I would never claim to know as much. But to me, when you have stuff like you said, that the Constitution was written by slave owners. Mm-hmm. Policing was started as slave wranglers. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So when you look at those two things, it was never the foundation and roots.
Policing was also used as a way to resolve conflict. The courts were, but remember, there is always criminals in a society. You are going to have murder.
Criminals don't have a color. Bad doesn't have a color. You know what I mean?
So you do need a police force for
I don't agree with completely just
the 1%.
No police, like fuck no. Like we don't have. We have
that's
too
Somalia.
many.
That's
we have
Somalia.
too many people that are just bad people to live like that.
But you know who that helps? You know who that's going to help if you go no police?
Warlords, gangsters.
Well, correct, but also the people that are going to suffer are those people, the minorities.
Yeah.
The rich people are going to hire private security. We're going to be fine.
That's to talk to South Africa.
When I say you and I are going to be fine.
Hey, you guys, don't
You
be
got some
classists.
issues.
Don't be classists.
Let me ask you this, Matt. What would you give Kaepernick a job? Because I think the Seattle Seahawks are talking about bringing him on the team.
It's tough, man.
Can you look at
that?
that? I'm pretty sure Seattle's going to bring him in. Because here's the other thing. If Russell Wilson did it, they're going to listen a little more.
Because he's
Well, I think the timing of Cap doing it. I think if this was Cap's Super Bowl run when he was the most explosive, dynamic quarterback on the planet, it went. But a lot of people, their first thing was, well, he wasn't playing no more. He was this,
He was
and that.
kind of on his way out when he did it. Like if Patrick Mahomes does it, they're like,
it's a different.
Yeah, we should probably take
Well, I don't know who started that video, but Patrick Mahomes was on it, and the next day Roger Goodell responds with a written statement.
Well, hold up. It was Patrick Mahomes. It was the dude, the running back, Saquon Barkley from the Giants.
Young black
It was
faces of the
Lamar
league.
Jackson. They're the face of the
of the
league.
league.
And they sent you. Did you know this?
No.
They sent Roger Goodell a video saying you better do something. The next day,
on it.
this fool was on FaceTime with everybody.
But I would have respected
posted the
Roger
video.
Goodell so much more if he would have said, he said the NFL made a mistake. You should have apologized to Cap.
Kaepernick, yes.
Why? To me, Roger Goodell would have went so much.
And you know what I don't like?
I think Cap is
agree.
going to go down in history.
Yeah.
As a positive figure in this country.
He is going to be known more for his knee than his actual playing. Like if he would have just played his career out, he would have been a good football player. He's going to go down as a historical figure for what he started. And this is one thing I want to touch on too is the knee. Like the knee to me doesn't mean very much anymore now because one day you see cops taking a knee, but then later on TV we see cops whooping people's ass at a peaceful protest. Like the knee has been hijacked now too. Now the NFL wants to allow, if you want a knee, now you could that's bullshit because exactly 4 years ago you blackballed a man for peacefully taking a knee for police brutality. Not to disrespect the flag, not to disrespect any race, nation, creed, color. He took a knee to bring attention to police brutality to minorities
Can I
and
get a
black
refresher?
people.
What happened to him?
But think about this. Think about how they handled this. Think about doing this in when the league starts up, which they're not going to miss any games. There's many crowd. Think if they did this today in this culture. They made guys who take a knee stay in the locker room.
Can you give me a refresher course when Cap took the knee? I remember it being controversial. What happened to him as a player? Did they suspend him?
Nothing.
Nothing.
So he continued
At
to
the time.
play, but then somehow he wasn't back.
But he was blackballed, and then
Because it
never got
brings
an
too much
opportunity.
attention.
So, but then
I think he's gonna go down.
then last year, remember, like, all right, we're gonna give him opportunity. He goes, this is such bullshit. They go, we're gonna give you an opportunity. We're gonna have 20 scouts there. We're doing Atlanta Falcons headquarters. So he gets there, and they hand him a contract, and they go, you got to sign this. And he's like, what? We didn't agree to this. My lawyers haven't looked it over. This is something new.
A lot of fine print.
You look through the fine print, basically saying you can't sue us down the road, whatever happens. Basically taking away all his rights that if he was shunned from the league, because he can sue for, God knows how much money. But if he signed that contract, all that goes away.
So that's why he did a private workout at a different place
Is that
last
what it was?
minute.
Yes.
Last minute. So
Last minute.
Because
And they said he balled out.
So then, he played well.
Because what's his name said, who's
you
it?
gave him a chance, and you did this, and he was wearing a T-shirt that had a fist
Stephen A.
on it.
Smith
Like they
went bad
tried
on him. He
to.
said he didn't
I
want
went.
Stephen A. Smith did, but also JayZ went bad on him. Because JayZ, a lot of people don't know this, JayZ's an advocate for the NFL. He's their liaison now. He's kind of like you for the NFL, right? How you are the NBA and other, like...
I don't know if Jay went bad on him. I think
Jay said he's disappointed.
I think the only thing that I may have missed when he said disappointed, Jay said we're
Maybe I
past
haven't done.
taking a knee. I think that's what pissed everyone off
What'd
with
he say?
JayZ. We're past taking a knee. And that's where the black community was really kind of bothered by what he said. But I give JayZ props because to me, we can't change nothing from the outside. Like we finally have someone who's for us that has a seat at that table. That is a 99.9% white table, but we have someone that speaks us, that came from our culture, that has our background, that has our DNA in us, that has enough power now to possibly change things. So
You're talking about Jay?
JayZ. And the one thing, everyone always wants to know, what are you doing with, like, Jay moves shit behind the needle. We're so much about self-promotion. Like, look what I did, a protest. Let me look at all these pictures and show people on Insta. Like, to me, I mean, that's a whole nother subject. I think some people are just doing it to put on Instagram to show. But, JayZ is someone who's behind the scenes pushing buttons, calling. I don't even want to make a mistake of who he called, but I think he called the governor of Minnesota or some higher up ranking in Minnesota. Like, these police need to be, the other 3 police need to be arrested. And I think the day after they were arrested. You know what I mean? So Jay is moving stuff for our culture. He's just not self-promoting. So I think he gets a bad rap for it.
You know who else who takes a lot of shit? Have you ever realized what Kanye West has done?
No.
Dude, how many people's college education he's paid for, funds that he started? It's insane.
But like I said, I think where the black culture lost Kanye was because he was supporting someone who spewed hate. Like I said, Trump could historically.
But that shouldn't make him a pariah, because.
But you have to understand, like, if Kanye growing in from the beginning, he was always, it wasn't so much pro-black, it was just for the betterment of our movement.
He also wasn't religious.
You know what I mean? He was so much for our people, and he was a voice of our people, and he's going to go down as one of the greatest minds. He's going to go down as a historical figure. You know what I mean? But I think the fact that he teamed up with Trump when us who pay attention and all we want is love and peace, although it's not ideal, when you team up with someone who projects so much hate, the black community is going to turn their back on you.
I think he was off the meds then too, though. We got to take that into account.
Tell you this right now.
Yeah.
Watch your tone.
Okay. What's going to happen? What are you going to do? Use some of that boxing you've been doing?
Don't you fucking disrespect.